After chasing Shinjobai for 10 years, I finally felt that it was boring. I gave up on him and got together with Zhou Yanchuan, who liked me. Zhou Yanchuan set off fireworks all night long and bought an island to propose to me. But on the eve of the wedding, he disappeared. When I found him, I heard him sneer at others. I just deliberately disgusted Shinzhou and Bai Kai to pursue Su Qinghan. It's boring to chase after you. But I'm not willing to give in, so isn't it fun to run away from marriage and embarrass her? So I ran away from the marriage first and made him the laughingstock of the whole town. Later, I heard that the proud eldest son of the Zhou family searched the capital but could not find his missing bride. 1 month before the wedding, Zhou Yanchuan disappeared. I searched all over the city but couldn't find him. On the 7th day after he disappeared, I received news that he appeared in the Shanghai stock market. I flew over overnight. On a ship, I finally met him. When I was about to knock on the door and go in, I heard his sneer. I just wanted to make Shinzhou Bai chase Su Qinghan because I wanted to disgust her. It's boring to chase after you. I paused. He didn't look like he was drunk, but rather sober. Therefore, very outrageous words came out of his mouth, and after tasting her, I found it quite boring. There was a burst of ambiguous laughter all around. It must be Master Zhou who captured the flower of the high mountains. Zhou Yanchuan seemed to enjoy the compliment and continued, "It doesn't look like she risked her life chasing Shinzhoubai before, but she is so pure. It's a pity." What's the pity? Zhou Yanchuan slowly exhaled a puff of smoke. What a pity. Although I am her first man, I am not the first man she likes. She has been in love with Shinzhoubai for 10 years. Who knows if her heart is clean or not? If I hadn't been a sworn enemy of Shinzhoubai and wanted to chase Su Qinghan to confront him, I wouldn't have acted like a silently guarding affectionate man. Someone joked, "We have been dating for 3 years, why is Mr. Zhou starting to lament now?" Zhou Yanchuan looked irritated and said in a cold voice, "It's just because I have been chasing her for so long that I feel unwilling to do so." Someone in the crowd continued, "I heard that she is looking for you everywhere and is going crazy. You have disappeared for so many days. Are you okay?" Zhou Yanchuan took a puff of cigarette, exhaled a burst of smoke and sneered, "Isn't it fun to run away from marriage and embarrass her?" I didn't see a trace of guilt, pity, or love in his expression. But a great revenge must be avenged, but finally waited until today. The fingertips dug into the palm of the hand, and the heart felt as if someone had stabbed it with a needle, and the pain was so painful that it was suffocating. I always thought Zhou Yanchuan would be my salvation and ending. I also made sure that I was not moved by my feelings for him, but liked him before I agreed to him. That day, he was so happy that he set off a whole city of fireworks. After 3 years together, he bought an island in my name and proposed to me. The sky was filled with Kongming lanterns. I thought it was love, romance. Unexpectedly, it was a play he did to take revenge on Shinzhoubai. It turns out that those more than 10 years of affection and help were all staged. In a daze, I remembered some past events. I was brought back to the Su family from a small town in the south when I was 12 years old. I felt awkward, had low self-esteem and was timid. Back then, Shinzhoubai just blocked the bullying for me, and I fell hopelessly in love with him, chase him until everyone knows. But he hates me so much. Later, I finally felt it was boring and gave up on him. I saw Zhou Yanchuan, who had been protecting me silently. It rained heavily that night, and he kept holding an umbrella for me. He said, "Su Qinghan, I don't ask you to see me, I just ask you to be free to do whatever you want from now on." How ridiculous. I cleared my mind and welcomed Zhou Yanchuan's arrival. Step by step, I fell into his tenderness. When I started fantasizing about a sweet future with him, unexpectedly, it gave him a chance to express his love for me. One knife at a time. Drenched with blood. The tip of my nose felt sour, and there was uncontrollable pain in my eyes. A tear fell and I quickly wiped it away. The voices inside continued, all giving him ideas. To take revenge on a woman, of course it would be more interesting to make her fall into the abyss when she was happiest. Yes, so Mr. Zhou, you should go back. You have to go back to accompany her to choose a wedding dress. You have to accompany her to send invitations. You have to act unknowingly and then leave her alone to embarrass herself on the wedding day. I bet Su Qinghan will go crazy. It's all disgusting laughter. I held back my nausea and waited for Zhou Yanchuan's reply. I really want to hear from him. Don't be ridiculous, I love Su Qinghan. Or maybe it's too much for girls. But there was silence for a long time. But I heard Zhou Yanchuan agree in a calm voice. Well, this is a good idea, let's go with it. The boundless anger almost suffocated me. I smiled sadly, but tears still fell unbridled. Zhou Yanchuan, do you want to play? Then I will act with you. I also want to see what your expression will be like on the wedding day when you find out that I am running away from my marriage. I erased all traces of going to Shanghai and returned to my wedding room with Zhou Yanchuan. I took out the gifts he had given me over the years and cut them all into pieces. How strange. Even though I didn't think about anything, why did I still shed so many tears? I once heard a saying. Falling out of love is like having rheumatism. It's fine when the day is clear, but at night the dampness penetrates into my bones, and the pain is excruciating. Maybe it was just a withdrawal reaction on my part. I stood up and spread the custom-made wedding dress flat on the ground. Expressionlessly, he used scissors to cut a tear. I have to remind myself. The same is true for relationships. Once there is a crack, no matter how you repair it, you can't go back to the beginning. After packing everything, I put these things in the study. Zhou Yanchuan rarely went in. I was lying in bed without sleep, and while watching a short video, I came across a notification from someone I might know. The name is, I Love Ian. By some strange coincidence, I clicked in. It is a record of a girl having a crush on a boy. The latest one is that she is positioned in the Shanghai Stock Exchange. Caption, the man I have liked for 10 years is getting married next month. I want to muster up the courage to confess my love. Please cheer for me. In her picture, I saw a familiar hand. There is also a wedding ring on her ring finger. That's Zhou Yanchuan. I didn't wait for news from Zhou Yanchuan, but received a call from Shenzhou Bai. Guess who I met in Shanghai? Shenzhou Bai, I don't care, don't call me from different numbers. When I was about to hang up, I heard the suppressed pride in his voice. Su Qinghan, don't you still know why Zhou Yanchuan disappeared for so long? He didn't want to marry you. He didn't mind if you chased me. He only approached you deliberately to get revenge on me. He is not a person worth trusting at all. What on earth do you want to say? I was already a little impatient. Su Qinghan, at least there is no other girl around me except you who has liked me for 10 years. I sat up and raised my voice. Shenzhou Bai, you did it on purpose, right? 5 years have passed, and you are still so keen on driving a wedge between me and him. But I tell you, no matter what, this is my choice. I am willing to admit defeat and never look back. Shenzhou Bai was silent for a moment and answered the question. I sent you something, you will be interested. After hanging up the phone, I received a video. Under the dim light, a girl and Zhou Yanchuan stood face to face. He blew out a smoke ring, his expression as casual as ever amid the cheers. The girl stood up on tiptoes and kissed his lips. And he didn't hide away. The video ends here. I opened the girl's social account. The news has been updated. Why is it not considered a success? The accompanying picture is a photo of two people kissing. I was so sick that I wanted to vomit, so I ran to the bathroom and hugged the toilet and retched for a long time. Then I remembered, I haven't eaten for a day, what can I vomit out? At this moment, I couldn't help but have cramps due to stomachache. I endured the pain and fell asleep on the bed, curling up into a ball. Suddenly I remembered that when I first established our relationship with Zhou Yanchuan, I wanted to look at the stars on the top of the mountain in the middle of the night. He didn't ask a word, indulged my little willfulness, and drove me to the top of the mountain overnight. It was slightly cold in the middle of the night. He held me gently, and his body temperature spread to my body. He leaned over and asked carefully, the moonlight is so beautiful, Su Qinghan, can I kiss you? After all, there is no going back. I slept in a daze until midnight when I heard movement in the living room. I broke out in a cold sweat and had no strength to get up. The next second, the bedroom light turned on. The dazzling light made it difficult for me to open my eyes. I heard Zhou Yanchuan's anxious voice, "Ching Ching, what's wrong with you?" I woke up in the hospital at 7 a.m. I saw Zhou Yanchuan holding my hand with a haggard look on his face, as if he had been watching over me all night. He stood up and poured me some water. "You're ruining your body like this when I'm not around? Your stomach has always been bad. Are you trying to kill yourself, huh?" He questioned me. Look, how ridiculous. During the week I was looking for him, I couldn't eat or sleep, and I lost 5 pounds. I always thought that Zhou Yanchuan offended someone in the business world and was kidnapped. I was so frightened that I couldn't sleep every night, and my pillow was wet with tears. But he was enjoying himself elsewhere and even kissed the little girl. "Don't say anything?" Zhou Yanchuan pinched my face with a smile in his eyes. "You know I will punish you, right? Okay, get up and have something to eat. My husband made porridge for you when I got home." I didn't sleep all night. As if nothing happened, he helped me up and fed me one bite at a time with a spoon. There were times when I wanted to ask him, "Zhou Yanchuan, are you tired of acting?" Or tell him, "Zhou Yanchuan, I heard your conversation. If you don't want to get married, we can cancel the wedding right away." Anyway, we didn't get the certificate. But he still swallowed it. I also want to know why he treats me like this despite being in love for so many years. Just because I once liked someone else, do I not deserve love? "My dear, why are you crying?" He put down the bowl and hurriedly wiped my tears. "I was wrong, my husband was wrong, okay?" I lowered my eyes and slowly closed them, but fell into Zhou Yanchuan's arms. He gently stroked my back and began to explain, "Baby, I'm sorry for making you worry. I was just a little too excited. I knew I was going to marry you." I couldn't believe it for a moment. I was afraid it was a dream, so I wanted to wake myself up. "I'm sorry for not telling you in advance. Will you forgive me, Lai? We are getting married in 20 days. During this time, I will stay at home with you and let you be my most beautiful bride, okay? But Zhou Yanchuan, we have no future." He wiped the tears from my cheeks with the pads of his fingers. "When those peach blossom eyes stare at you, you will feel that he is so affectionate. I'm going out to have a cigarette and will be discharged from the hospital later. Zhou Yanchuan may be too trusting of me. Or maybe he's not afraid that I'll think too much about it. After all, he's just fulfilling what his buddy said and acting affectionately." So, I picked up his phone that kept having messages popping up. The password is my birthday. I always knew, but I never checked. When I turned on my phone, a girl named Hua sent me a lot of messages. "It was added yesterday. Brother Ian, if you come back so late, you should go back and rest early. I heard that Brother Ian is getting married. Can you send me an invitation? I also want to feel happy. When I got off the plane, I saw you holding your stomach. Are you feeling uncomfortable? I stewed millet porridge for you overnight. It's good for your stomach. Compliment me now." He didn't reply to any of the previous ones, only this one. He replied, "Send it to this address." I looked sideways at the pink thermos box on the table and started to feel sick again. The girl behind me is still sending. "Are you sick? Doesn't matter, I'll stay with you in the hospital, okay? I'll cook the porridge after I finish it. Brother Ian should pay attention to his health." Sitting in the hall all night, my legs are numb, and my stomach feels very uncomfortable during my menstrual period. I turned off my phone and set messages as unread. Then roll out of bed. In the hall, I saw Zhou Yanchuan. And the little girl yesterday. Across the crowd, I quietly watched them talking and laughing. The girl danced, her ponytail bouncing. Not knowing what she was talking about, she pouted and touched her belly, while Zhou Yanchuan reached out and rubbed her hair. For a moment, I felt like a mistress spying on someone else, from the kiss last night to the hair rubbing today. It seems that Zhou Yanchuan likes her quite a lot. That's right. Who doesn't like someone who is kind to him silently, without asking for anything in return, and whose eyes are full of his? I smiled to myself. Turning around and walking to the corner, he saw Shinjo Bai. He walked out of the shadows and looked in the direction of Zhou Yanchuan with sinister eyes. Is this the opponent you chose for me? I looked directly at him and said, don't be so sentimental. Su Qinghan, why didn't you chase me back then? I feel a little baffled. I have been chasing him for 10 years. Isn't that enough? Since I stopped chasing him, he comes often to increase his presence. Maybe he doesn't like me at all. Like Zhou Yanchuan, he is just unwilling to cause trouble. That's it, do you want to get married? Shinjo Bai asked me. I twitched my lips and said, mind yourself. I gave up on you a long time ago. I really don't want to see you. Passed by. Shinjo Bai asked, even if he has someone else, is it okay with you? It's relevant. I pressed the position of my heart. Some pain. But I know that one day it will be okay. There are still 20 days left, Su Qinghan, bear with it. On the way home with Zhou Yanchuan, I told him that the custom-made wedding dress was accidentally damaged by me. Does this mean something bad is going to happen? I quietly observed his expression. With just a slight frown, he turned around and held my hand, smiling gently as before. Then let's look at wedding dresses again tomorrow, okay? The wedding dress was custom-made for half a year. It was designed by my favorite designer and was unique. It was just sent back a week ago. My upper body looks very good, but Zhou Yanchuan happened to be missing and didn't see me wearing it. I don't want it anymore. Regret? I don't regret it. Zhou Yanchuan, you want to have fun, right? This is just the beginning. The next day, I picked a wedding dress again, and the finished wedding dress was of course not suitable. I deliberately asked Zhou Yanchuan to accompany me to choose for a day, but I didn't choose the right one. On the way back, I sighed, what a pity, it's all my fault for being careless. Zhou Yanchuan smiled, it's okay, take your time. I stared into his eyes. Zhou Yanchuan, the wedding dress is broken, why don't we not get married? I suddenly braked and was carried forward by inertia. I hit Zhou Yanchuan's hand, and he protected me. Are you okay? I shook my head, pretending to ask, what's wrong? I was kidding. He squeezed my hand tightly and hugged me. Baby, I can't stand your joke. Don't you know how long I have been waiting for today? Really? But Zhou Yanchuan, didn't you discuss this? He helped me pick out wedding dresses, wrote invitations, and created happy memories with me, and then stabbed me hard. I was just creating opportunities for you. What are you afraid of? When I went back home at night, Zhou Yanchuan hugged me against the cabinet in the entrance hall just after the door was closed and before I had time to take off my shoes. His hot body hugged me tightly and kissed me all over. He was eager to vent his emotions. I dodged and gently pushed him away. Zhou Yanchuan, I feel uncomfortable and don't want to do it. He was stiff when he was stimulated by my disappointing words. He seemed to be trying to see something on my face. After a while, he sighed and hugged me, and gently put his hands on my stomach and rubbed it. Does your stomach still hurt? I didn't nod or shake my head. His kiss fell on my hair. Sit for a while, I'll take a shower and come out to cook for you. The phone flashed next to me. I unlocked it and saw the girl's message. Brother Ian, I haven't received my invitation yet, so cute.jpg. By the way, Auntie Zhou asked me to go to your company tomorrow. My resume has been approved. I'm awesome. I hope everything goes well. I can see you every day and bring you lunch. I made it myself. I put it back gently. Then I opened my wedding preparation diary. Wrote, 19 days to the wedding, Ian and I went to pick wedding dresses today. It's a pity that there is no one that fits. It may be because I have lost too much weight recently. But it doesn't matter. I am so happy when I think about becoming her bride. He is the same as me, right? Scrolling up, I wrote down the little things that happened during this period. 30 days to the wedding, Ian disappeared. I couldn't find him. I used a tablet to watch our wedding scene planning repeatedly. I cried all night and my eyes were swollen. 20 days to the wedding, Ian is back. I am so disappointing. Did I push him too hard and make him afraid before marriage? It's my fault. I shouldn't be like this. I just love him too much. These will be the most heartbreaking gifts I will give him in the future. The wedding dress was finally ordered by Zhou Yanchuan. He said that he would just make do with it this time. He has already paid a lot of money to ask a master to customize a new wedding dress, and we will wear it when we hold the wedding on the island. Oh, that island was bought by Zhou Yanchuan when he proposed to me and named after me. How ironic. When he proposed to me, he was the one who said that he finally got what he wanted. Now when we are about to get married, he is also the one who wants to escape and embarrasses me. Zhou Yanchuan, tell me, is it so difficult to find a true heart in this world? I saw the girl's dynamic update again. Work is solved smoothly. Brother Ayen keeps me by his side, and I am one step closer to the male god, hehe. The accompanying picture is a secretly taken photo of Zhou Yanchuan in a meeting. I took screenshots of all of them and wrote, 17 days to the wedding countdown, the moon on the sea is the moon in the sky, and the person in front of me is the one in my heart. But few people know that the next line of this poem is, my heart has always been that of a spectator, but I am the one in the play. It's just a dream of flowers in the mirror and moon in the water. I want to weave a happy dream for him, and then let him fall into the abyss. So in the past week, I asked Zhou Yanchuan to accompany me to do a lot of things. As for the details of the wedding, I didn't participate in the whole process this time. I asked Zhou Yanchuan to contact the planning company himself. I want him to understand every link in it. Even if it is the smallest bouquet of flowers, he must know where it comes from. I asked him to know all the processes, to the minute, what to do, and he must know it better than me.